Hello, my fellow supernatural enthusiasts. Welcome back to my perfectly healthy expression of supernatural enthusiasm. Now, this is not a makeup video. If you were expecting a makeup video, you'll be disappointed unless you are a big raging supernatural fan like myself. In that case, stick around. This video was requested by Nina and Kimberly. You guys are both apparently supernatural fans. That made me so excited. Nina noticed my cat Stiel picture in the background. Let me bring him up. So this picture was given to me as a birthday gift from a very dear friend of mine. I had a cat named Figaro. Let me show you my Figgy tattoo. So here's my Figgy tattoo right here. So this cat in the picture looks like Figaro, and he passed away, I'm gonna cry. He passed away about 9 years ago, and it was very hard for me, and she knew how hard it was for me, and she knew that I loved Supernatural, and she knew that Castiel was one of my favorite characters. So this is basically a picture of Figgy cosplaying Cass, which is so perfect for me. So that is the story behind the Cat Stiel picture. I do have my computer right in front of me. I'm going through my photo albums from the 3 separate supernatural conventions that I attended. Mostly I will be talking about the costumes that I wore, but I will be sharing some experiences about meeting the cast members, about meeting fellow supernatural fans, and hopefully this will be a very, very fun video. So let's start with the very first convention. I went by myself, and I started off wearing a Charlie Bradbury costume. I am actually wearing a Charlie costume today. This one is from Slumber Party. The t-shirt says Somni 451. That is a reference to Cloud Atlas. By the way, if you have ever wondered what Charlie's novelty shirts are referencing, I can tell you all of them. So just ask down below and I will answer. So I started off dressed as Charlie from her first appearance in The Girl with the Dungeons and Dragons tattoo. So here's the costume. I was really hoping for a glass elevator so I could jam out to Walking on Sunshine, but alas, there was not. That's okay. I still had a blast. My very first time at the convention, it was like walking into a family reunion of people that I had never met, but I felt this connection with. It was so amazing. I ran into some other people dressed as Charlie. That was really fun. I ran into several Castiels, and so we did a Charlie's Angel picture. I did do a terrible job of making a fake Dungeons and Dragons tattoo of Princess Leia in the slave girl bikini riding a 20-sided die. I did a terrible job of making a fake tattoo, but I did have a fake tattoo, so that was interesting. And my very first photo op was with Misha Collins, Castiel, one of my favorite characters. And let me tell you, if you've never been to a supernatural convention, when you walk into that photo room, the energy in that room, it's like nothing I've ever felt before or since. I wish I could bottle that energy and then drink it on my lackadaisical days. It's so amazing. Everybody's happy. Some people are nervous. Most people are just excited. The actors are so friendly. They run you through there pretty fast, but you get a good 5 or 10 seconds to interact with the actors. They're so nice. It's so much fun. So that was my first encounter with a cast member from Supernatural. That was super fun. And about halfway through the day, I changed into my Slumber Party costume. This is what it looked like back then. I didn't have the proper t-shirt. I just wore a plain pink t-shirt, but I got this later on. And then I did a photo op with Mark Shepard. That was really fun. Some people say that he can be kind of grumpy when you ask him to do something silly, but I didn't find him grumpy at all. I found him absolutely delightful and just a very sweet person. All of them were so, so nice. The next day I busted out my Pac-Man Fever costume. That's the one with the bullet sash and the eye patch. And I wore that one when I did my photo op with Jensen Ackles, because at that time, the episode No Place Like Home had previewed but had not premiered. And so I knew that there was a scene where Dean and Charlie got into a fight and that it was dark Charlie. And so when I did my photo op with Jensen, I asked him if we could fight and he was like, yeah. And so we did this picture, and I didn't know the context. I didn't understand what the episode was about, but it was still really fun, and my friends still really, really liked this picture. And then later, after I watched the episode, I did this costume where I dressed up like Charlie, badly beaten by Dean Winchester. And I got a lot of heat when I posted that on social media because they said that I was glorifying the battery of women. I wasn't at all. I was just doing a costume. It was a reference to Supernatural. And so I apologize if this offends you at all, but I was pretty proud of it. I mean, I even have the Robin t-shirt. So later on that day, I changed into my Queen of Moons costume. That is from LARP and the Real Girl. That's where Charlie is at this Renaissance festival with a bunch of live action role players, and they kind of worship her. She's the queen. It's amazing. And so I wear this costume often to the Renaissance festival as well. I did do a picture with Jared Padalecki in this costume. You can see how tall he is. He really is insanely tall, but I'm also insanely short. So I thought that that was a really cute picture. I had a lot of fun wearing that costume. I've got some pictures of a replica of Baby. They don't have the actual Baby. I think there are like 12 or 13 babies, but none of these are from the show. These are people who actually have these Impalas, and they refurbish them and they trick them out to look like Baby. I always get a picture with Baby, and I also got a temporary tattoo. So that wraps up convention number 1. Let's go to the second experience. At my second Supernatural convention, I started out as FBI Agent Charlie, and I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's the episode where she flashes her badge and she holds it up upside down, just like Castiel did the first time he flashed his fake badge. And so when I did my photo op with Misha Collins, I had made 2 FBI badges, and we both held our FBI badges up upside down. He was a very good sport about it, and that is my second favorite photo op from any convention that I've ever gone to. That was a lot of fun. I also did the Pac-Man Fever costume. Later on in the day, I got comfortable. I changed into some plain street clothes. I put my hair up. I put on a sweater. I got my picture taken with Osric Chow. He was super, super nice. I have heard that he does crazy costumes, and I was kind of hoping that he would be in a crazy costume. He wasn't. That was okay. It was still a lot of fun. I also got my picture taken with Ruth Connell, who plays Rowena, and here is a really fun story. When I was in line, not to get the picture, but to get the autograph, I had bangs at the time, and I had my hair pulled back, and I had on a black sweater. Well, apparently she was wearing a black sweater, had her hair pulled back, and one of the convention volunteers grabbed me by the arm, and she said, "You need to be in there. Your signing is starting." And I was like, "What?" And when I turned around, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were Ruth." And that was like one of the greatest moments of my life, because she full on mistook me for Ruth Connell. Apparently, we're both very, very short. She's much slimmer than I am. I'm pretty slim, but I mean, she's teeny tiny. And so that was just an awesome moment to get full on mistaken for her. And that was what put the idea in my head to do some Rowena costumes. And that brings me to my third Supernatural convention. I started off dressed as Rowena from the episode The Devil in the Details, where she's wearing the house coat and the blinky nose and the reindeer antlers. And I got my picture taken with Mark Shepard, and he's notoriously kind of stodgy about doing goofy things. When I walked up, he said, "Wow, that is a good costume," from Mark Shepard. That was amazing. So this is my absolute all-time favorite photo from a Supernatural convention. This is what the photo is referencing. This is the costume that I was going for. I walked around, people really seemed to like that costume. And that was an old house coat that my mother had that I borrowed, and just some Christmas antlers and a blinky nose that I got at Party City. Easiest costume I've ever put together, and probably the best reaction I've ever gotten from a costume. I also met Julian Richings. I got a photo with him. Of course, I dressed up as Death from The Sandman, and I thought that was appropriate, Death and Death. So he said that he had seen a lot of people dressed like that, but he didn't get the reference, and so I explained it to him. He was really, really nice about it. I also got to meet him. I got his autograph. I told him that I loved him in Orphan Black. He was a super, super sweet gentleman. Let's see, what else did I do at that convention? I did just the classic Rowena black dress. I think the episode where she wears this plain, well, not plain, but this slinky black number is called Soul Survivor. I did do a photo op with Misha Collins dressed as Rowena. He again said, "Wow, you really look like one of my co-stars," and that just sent me over the moon. I look really awkward in this picture, but I thought it was so much fun. Everybody seemed to think that I looked a lot like Rowena, and I would never have noticed that. I would have probably done a Rowena costume eventually just because of my hair, but I would have never noticed how well I could pull it off if that one convention volunteer hadn't mistaken me for Ruth Connell. So sadly, I've never gotten to meet Felicia Day at any of the Supernatural conventions, but I did get to meet her at her book signing for You're Never Weird on the Internet, almost, and I dressed up as Penny from Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. We geeked out. It was amazing. Let me see if I can put the video in. And when I'm going through my list of costumes that I have and that I love, many of them are based on Felicia Day's characters. I did Codex from the Guild. I dressed up as the fairy from The Legend of Neil. I know that that's an extremely obscure reference. If you've ever seen The Legend of Neil, let me know. We will geek out together. If you haven't, it's available on YouTube. It is so funny. The actor who played Zabu on the Guild. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, so I won't butcher it, but he is behind that series. It is so funny. It's raunchy, so if you're easily offended, well, if you're easily offended, why the fuck do you watch me? So check that out if you are into geeky stuff. It is so freaking funny. So I think that wraps it up for the Supernatural costumes. I will be doing, like I said, a ton of costume videos here in the coming months because Halloween is coming up. But for me, Halloween all the way through December is costume season because we have so many festivals here in the Houston area where cosplay works really well. We have the Renaissance Festival. We have Dickens on the Strand, which is a Victorian festival. I'm going to be dressing up as Vignette from Carnival Row for Dickens on the Strand. I will be dressing up as Cersei Lannister and Maudra Farah from The Dark Crystal, both Lena Headey characters. Love her so much. Those are for the Renaissance Festival, so you will see a lot of cosplay videos, probably more cosplay than makeup just in the coming months, but I will get back to makeup because today I picked up the Norvina 2 palette. I never did pull the trigger on the Norvina 1, but I picked this one up. Let me show it to you real quick. We got to do some makeup, right? As far as I can tell just from playing with it a little bit, it's really pretty, it's really pigmented. For the most part, there are some shades that are not as pigmented as I expected them to be, so that's coming up. Next up, I think I'm gonna do the 15 things about fall tag or something to that effect. So I'm gonna be doing some Halloween videos, some cosplay videos as soon as my Notoriously Morbid order comes in. Speaking of Notoriously Morbid, they have a lip gloss collection called the Winchester Gospels. I'm not sure if that's showing up. Let's zoom in. So I got this one called Cass's Enochian Schnapps. By the way, I also have a t-shirt that says, "Hey ass butt" in Enochian. So I can't find it right now. I was gonna wear that t-shirt, but I think that that is the cleverest thing in the world. Anyway, this is watermelon and cinnamon. It actually smells really good and it tastes like watermelon. I can't really get the cinnamon, but they have, I don't even remember what other ones they have, but they have a whole collection. These are $3 a piece. They are great lip balms, so check those out. The link will be down below. So that wraps it up for today. As always, thank you so very much for joining me. Comment down below and tell me who is your favorite Supernatural character. Mine, of course, is Charlie, but there are others that I absolutely love with my entire heart. But I want to know, who is your favorite character? What is your favorite episode? What is your favorite season? Let's talk Supernatural because I can talk about that show all day. Throw me a pity like, give me some encouragement to make some more videos. Very special shout out to you if you were watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, stay adorably obsessed with Supernatural.
That wasn't me.